Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Bridge the Gap with Nat Energy Healer and myself, Karen Jones from Rose Compass. We decided we were collaborating to share with you everything that we're experiencing as coaches and what shows up and how we can support others that are stepping into their power, stepping into being authentically themselves and what that actually looks like. And today, one of the subjects that we wanted to talk about was how you can get really knocked sideways when something unexpected comes. And generally, we put that under the term of grief. Because we're grieving the loss of something, but sometimes that really comes as a huge curveball. So I want to say hi to Nat before we continue. So good morning, Nat.
Hi, good morning, Karen. That was a beautiful intro and a great way to explain absolutely everything because I feel like life is just always has been this way, but there's certain phases that just hit a little bit harder, certain things that slap a little bit differently, when they come up. And yeah, we're in a phase of that right now. Mercury's in retrograde, and I don't overly subscribe to astrology, but I can't deny the fact that it's all happening in this time period of phase. Yeah. Yeah.
Totally. And I mean, I'm not one that generally follows astrology either, but I do have close friends that follow it. And when you actually look back at certain patterns, you can see when huge things actually transition. And there seems to be like a gateway point that it's not just one person that's telling you that something's hit sideways. You can hear it from every single person that something, not little, but big has happened to them or happened around them that has completely changed the trajectory of where they're going.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's where it is right now. It's those massive shifts. Like people are moving, ending relationships, losing jobs, leaving jobs, vacating what they once knew for something entirely new. And this adventure that they're heading for and heading towards, it's not all here yet. Earth hasn't developed it all yet. There's not all the answers. So when you go ahead, you're like, I really don't know what's coming, but I'm just here in this new energy that has been provided to me, figuring it out.
Mm-hmm. And I find so part of my own personal journey, I've had many, many events that have happened to knock me sideways. And there's a few things that I've learned along my lifetime that really took me um, a deeper level of understanding within myself to navigate circumstances that were happening. And one thing that I know you and I have talked about that I think is really powerful. And this, I remember the very first time somebody said to me, "This is happening through you, not to you." And I went, "What the frig are you talking about?" Right? Because this big event for me was a huge car accident, and that car accident completely changed my life, like literally overnight changed my life, and took me 10 years to heal from. But that 10 years of healing was that process of, wait a minute, I called this in. Why the hell would I do that? Why would I invite this into my life when it's so physically painful, changed everything in my life, not just me physically, but I lost my business. I was a hairdresser. I lost my business. I couldn't do it anymore and found that I was in a wheelchair for 3 months navigating things that had happened. So I can totally identify with people's stories when that happens. And I know this is where what you're experiencing with the people you're coaching and people in your life right now.
Yeah. And it's almost coming back to where that attachment of is this good or bad? And we're labeling it as, okay, this is a, horrific accident or something huge that happened in your life, but is it good or is it bad? that's where I kind of like, I'm like, I don't know. Because the way I look at it, everything is neutral, right? And it's not good or bad. And the way you experience it, you're going to get a lot of good out of a lot of the horrible, typically horrible situations that come up for you. And that's the thing is like I'm seeing right now too with all of my clients, their lives are drastically shifting. And like it's like I said, it's not like you were saying, it's not one, it's every single one. And you're like, okay, boom, boom,
Yeah,
boom, boom, and just watching it all implode, really. But knowing on the other side of it, being that energy person, being like, okay, the vision of the tower card comes up where your life is going to implode as you once knew it and rebuild from the ashes into what you're supposed to be, who you're supposed to be, where you're supposed to go, because this path, this narrative is no longer for you, right?
totally. And
Yeah.
in and I can only speak from my experience. So my experience, like I said, when I was very first told this happened through you, not to you. I think after I'd gotten through the period of time where I was angry, because anger is the first thing that I experienced, that my life, why was this? I was angry that this had happened to me. I was angry that my life had changed. I'd angry that my illusion of security had completely been shattered. What I thought was secure for me. But when I started to really navigate that life happens through me, not to me, I actually started to backtrack some of my thoughts. And some of my, well, I know where I am now to where I was almost 35 years ago. 35 years ago, I wasn't, I was unconscious. Okay. So, knowing that my thoughts, being energy and frequency, had attracted in this into my timeline for me to recover, rediscover, and remember myself. Right. But my dialogue at the time was, oh my God, I just need a break. I just want some time off. I just want to be able to put my feet up. Why can't I just say no to people? Because I was a proverbial people pleaser. Why can't I just say no? Sorry, I can't do that. And when I started to backtrack my internal dialogue, I started to understand, wait a minute, I'm the magnet that brought that to me for me to discover all those things that I'd asked for myself.
Yeah. And it's really one of those like blessings in disguise where you're not expecting it. You're not, you feel like you don't need that big of a boom as well to create the lesson. You're like, well, we didn't need a car accident to get this mindset piece, but yeah, you did.
Yes, I
And
did.
and it's such a like that's like it's such a part of your story and such a pivotal point for you, especially to get here. And that's one of those things where it's like if you did not go through that path and that process, we would not be sitting here right now having this conversation. And
Totally.
even when you talk about your mindset 35 years ago, I'm like, oh, like I have some of that mindset percolating in me and where I'm at in the phase of it all, right? Like I haven't developed as far or as deep yet. I'm still learning those certain things. I still need to take more time for myself and I need a break and all of this. And I'm like, oh no, like what is it that's going to actually create that for me?
Mhm.
Right?
Yeah,
I know it's coming.
I
Like,
know. And the power of our words is so key. And, we're never taught any of this. This is ancient. This is the law of one. This is the law of the universe. We are never, ever taught any of this. We're always taught to chase externally to find happiness instead of searching internally. And if it's a relationship that's breaking down, go back and look at your dialogue. Have you said, I'm really not happy in this relationship? I don't like the way things are. I wish he could be, or I wish she could be, or I wish I could say. And you're going to find out exactly why things are transpiring in a way for you to discover all that for yourself. Um,
yeah.
one of the things that I share with my clients is that you will always attract in the level and degree of the love that you have for yourself. So if you have a relationship that's breaking down, that's a mirror back to you on how can I love myself and care for myself more. Um, and they're painful. We go through that grieving process because we were all sold the story of, the happy ever after. And it doesn't always transpire the way we were told in all the fairy tales, that we were going to get that happy ever after.
Yeah, it's not that easy, right? Like that's the thing. It's not just like you have someone you meet and everything is perfect and it flows perfectly forever. It's like, no, you really have to work to connect with someone who is different from you. And if your relationship is coming to an end, you can really look back and evaluate and you can see where it started to phase out and come to its point, right? But when you're in it, you're so in it that you're like, I can't see, I can't see. But when it breaks off, you're like, I see so clearly where it all went wrong, where I could have been better for myself, where I could have been a better partner as
Mm-hmm.
well, right? Like it's really just it's all preparation to do better next time, And like it's the grand scheme of things from like, relationships, learning about jobs, learning about all of this, learning about this world to do better in the next life to gain
Mm-hmm.
all of the knowledge better, so you do that in this life but also like better in your next relationship, better in your next job, better in your next adventure, better in all of it. But it does take oftentimes a drastic shift for humans to make that change because we know we need to do better, we know we need to make the changes and we're not doing it. So then the universe comes in and is like, here you go, how about you do it with this now?
Yeah. 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 I mean, every single one of us have that. Well, in the old days, when I was a kid, it was the cartoons always depicted a devil on one shoulder and an angel on the other. And that's the cartoon version of our unconscious and our conscious mind. So you've got your unconscious mind that is telling you all the programmed stories. I'm not worthy, I'm not good enough, I'm not capable, I'm unlovable, I'm not heard. And then you've got your higher self that says you can do this. Just take that jump, take that leap. You've got all of these skills and talents. And then the unconscious part goes, but there's already people doing it. There's already people that are so good at that, and I'm never going to be like that. So we keep ourselves in that tiny contained box until we complain and put the energy out so much that the universe goes, okay, are you ready? Boom, slap. Now do it. Now
I love
show up for yourself.
I love the way you said that. Like, okay, are you ready? Like, is that it? And it's like it's preparing, and the energy is like, are you ready? And we're just like over here, la 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 la, like, yeah. But the truth is too that whenever these things come up and these massive changes happen for you and through you, you are ready. You're
Yeah,
more than ready by the time it hits in, and this is your highest path, or else you would be on the other one, right?
totally.
Like like it's not even you don't question it, just keep going. You're not going backwards and I saw this thing as well about a breakup. And for a lot of the relationships that are coming to an end, someone was talking about like when you break up and break up hard. Because you either are going to separate, and if you were supposed to be together, you're going to learn different things about yourselves, about each other, about how you can love more, and then you're going to come back together because it's inevitable. And if you break up, you also have the opportunity to learn, to grow, to do all of this and to be better for other people. And if you weren't meant to be, you weren't meant to be,
Yeah.
And it's that piece in the knowing that a breakup is not always the end of everything. It can
No,
really create a lot more magic. And a lot of people do get back together because they're supposed to be together. They just need those lessons on their own. You
absolutely. Absolutely. Because sometimes we go to grow and expand together, and other times we have to, like you said, separate in order to be able to see the bigger picture and then, come back together or not, and I believe my personal belief is that we all have divine contracts, and those divine contracts are for our greatest growth. We attract people in for a reason. It's not random. You didn't just randomly meet that guy or that girl, or you randomly just get married. There was a contract for you to have that mirror back to you so that you can see yourself in a way that you wouldn't necessarily have seen yourself before. So if you find yourself complaining about something, that is a mirror back to you. And it's like, oh, that's interesting. I'm complaining about that. What is an aspect of that in me that I can shift and change? But we're never taught any of that. You know, we go to school and we're just taught to get the great job, get the great pension, you know, find somebody you're happy with and have children if you want children and draw your pension and then have fun. When you retire, that's your time to have fun and then you die. Right. And that's not it. It's all backwards, you know. So and as you mentioned, with the frequencies and the energies of the planet the way they are now, we're being called to show up.
Not like called, forced into it. Like but that's the thing. It's not even a forcing into it. It's that like, you're ready for this. You want to do it. And now is the time. And there's no more holding back. Like you're going and we're eliminating all of these things, all of these factors that impact your impact, right?
Totally.
Like we're just getting rid of it, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. People, jobs, homes, locations. And like that's the thing, it's really scary because you're taught this, like you get your partner, you get the house, you get the job, retire, live good on that money, and then die. And everything is okay and you're taken care of the whole time. But what happens, that's the thing, is if you're, one day you're in the relationship and the next day your partner's like, maybe not. And then, you're in a job and the next day your boss is like, maybe not. And those stability pillars, the safety pillars that you had are immediately gone.
Mm-hmm.
you know what do you do? And a lot of people are really just like left lost right now, wondering what to do on their own without guidance in this world that is you're taught, and it's like shoved down your throat to do all these things. And it's like you're not doing it wrong, you're doing it the way you're supposed to, for your lessons, for your path, for your uncovering, for your unveiling. There's
Yeah.
nothing wrong about what you're doing. Don't be scared. Like,
Yeah.
as hard as it is, don't be scared to be alone. Don't be scared to have the floor fall out from underneath you, because you have this opportunity to do so much more than you were doing.
Totally.
It's this or something better,
Yeah.
you
And
know?
you know, we are at a pivotal point where we are breaking through the generational programming that has been regurgitated over and 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 over again, that sells you a lie that the security and the safety is external from you. And it is not.
Yeah.
All the
Mhm.
time that we place our level of security, our level of peace, our level of stability, our level of how we're loved, external from ourselves, then you are always going to be fighting in some way to keep it. You're always going to be
Mhm.
fighting to keep the job. You're always going to be fighting to keep the relationship. You're always going to be fighting to keep your bank account in a certain way because you're chasing it and wanting to keep it the same because you've been programmed and taught that your security is outside of yourself. And the only place you will
Mhm.
ever find stability and security is within the core of your being. And that is what we are being asked, called,
Mhm.
demanded to do right now. So if you're, it's like I've mentioned to one of my clients before who was going through a breakup and he was desperate to get this relationship back. And he was doing all kinds of things were outside of the normal for him to try and get this, to win this love back. But the relationship wasn't a great relationship to win back. Okay. They're constantly arguing, they're constantly fighting, constantly throwing things at each other, constantly leaving and coming back. And it's like, why?
Mhm.
Yeah, why? And I think sometimes that's the question we have to ask ourselves. What am I really chasing?
Yes. And why is such a huge question in my world. Like, what for? Why am I here? What am I doing here? Is like, am I beneficial here? Like, why am I here? What am I doing? Why am I in this relationship? Why am I in this job? Why am I showing up here? Why am I putting my energy here? It's so important. And now, like that inner voice as well. So when you start like working with that, you have that inner voice that like starts telling you, oh, it sucks to be here, but you can do it. And then when you grow, your inner voice is like, you should not be here. You know you need to leave. You know you need to go. And it's that transition between your inner voice allowing you to sit and settle and your inner voice wanting more for you too. That transition is massive, massive. And it's interesting too, because she comes in and like she talks to me nicely sometimes, and I'm taken back. I'm like, who is that in there? Because I'm not familiar with this new voice that, picks me up and tells me, yes, I can, and you are safe, and you are strong, and you are everything you need. Why are you worrying? You know?
Yeah.
Like really shifted into something absolutely amazing over the last little while, but it comes with sitting with that pain and that distance and that space between, okay, this happened and what I'm doing is over here and I'm like here on the path, you know?
Yeah, totally. Totally. And listening to that voice is true guidance. The more you listen to that intuition, the more you listen, even if it doesn't make sense, which for me a
Yep.
lot hasn't made sense. And once you get to the point where you're comfortable with going, okay, I know I'm afraid. I know I'm feeling a level of fear inside of me. That is my unconscious telling me that there's something greater beyond where I'm currently sitting. Is it dangerous? No. Am I going to hurt anybody? No. So clearly it's my own
Mm.
limiting belief of myself. So once I've done it once, I can do it again. And my thing for me has always been I'll do things 3 times, once to break the fear and 2 more times to see if I really want to do it. And if I don't, then I'm good with whatever changes after that.
Oh, I love that. I love that because I'm trying a million different things and I'm like, it's okay. You're not going to like everything and it's okay not to like everything. But to give things more than one chance is, hmm,
Yeah.
hmm,
Because I found when I started shifting, I would have the old paradigm using words like, oh my God, can you not just stick to something?
yeah.
Right? Because the old paradigm is you left school, you got this good job, you stayed there till you got your golden watch, you retired, and then you had fun. But we are so multifaceted. We are so um, directed by what brings that level of joy within us. Why would you stay in a job for 45 years that you hate to retire to then have fun? Makes no sense. No, it's never made any sense to me. But I had in my younger life
Thank you.
people, yeah, I would have people say, you just need to find that one thing. Okay. Well, I don't know what that one thing is. So when I started, I learned Reiki and then sound therapy, and then I moved on to reconnective healing, and then moved on to something else, and then to light language, and then to coaching. But when I look at all of it, it's all under the same umbrella of my own personal growth. And when I've recognized it's been my own personal growth and my own personal journey, that level of wisdom is something that then can get shared, which I believe is why we're here.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's the thing too, is like already even myself, I'm like, I do a ton of things, but like you say, it's all under that one umbrella of this is me, this is how I like to thrive, and this is like what completes me because I'm not a one train or one track mind. I'm a multifaceted being. And sometimes I need this level of softness, and sometimes I need this level of intensity, and sometimes I need somewhere in between. And it's that
Mm-hmm.
path that we get to take and discover ourselves. But that's the thing is like, both of us would not have discovered ourselves had we not taken the leap to like let the job go, like, or be fired or move out or take that leap and be the black sheep of the family, the one that's going to do the things, even if it's hard, if it hurts, if it's creating uncomfortableness. We're the ones who are able to do that. And it's caused this like cause and effect of this really beautiful umbrella of a business, of a magic, of a way you give and serve back. Like, the whole point of it is to recycle. Everything that I've learned, I literally want to spew on everybody and have them spew it out so that they can start to feel better about themselves. They can do the things that I started doing to feel better, to recuperate, to dive into the field that I love.
Hmm. Yeah. And even if they don't dive into what we do, what it does is it gives them that deep level of self-worth, self-knowing, self-understanding, um, self-love. I get asked all the time, you know, the word just learn to love yourself is thrown out there all of the time. But what does that really mean? What does it really mean when you say just love yourself? It's not always about going for a facial or a massage or going to the spa, although those things are great. To learn to love yourself is to set boundaries. To learn to love
Yeah.
yourself is to speak your truth. To learn to love yourself is to give your emotions a voice and space to process. You know, to learn to love yourself is looking at the way life reflects back to you and going, that's interesting. Is there something
Mm.
within the way it's reflecting to me right now? Would I change? Looking at
Yeah.
your relationships, all of that is self-love. It's not just about going to the spa. And I think when people are having huge transitions showing up for them, like relationships breaking down or jobs suddenly disappearing, one of my greatest statements that I was given and I've used ever since is rejection is God's protection. So there's something greater coming for you. Your job is to notice and then to discover.
Mm. That is really beautifully said. Yeah. Yeah. I think the struggle too, I know for me, when it does come up still and in the past is it's the how. People are like, love yourself. And I'm like, okay, how? How? You know,
Yeah.
how do you treat yourself better? How do you do this? How do we do it whenever we're so taught and so encompassed in a world that is pulling you away from that in every single capacity? And it's like that's the thing, you have to overpower the programming, overpower your mind, overpower all of those things that tell you no, overpower that old narrative in your head that says that you can't do it and say, no, I'm actually going to give it a try. I can do this, you know? But I feel
Mm-hmm.
like the how is the piece that is like it it's the piece that you need to take out because you don't really need to worry about it, but also the piece that you need to put in and that's how it happens, right? It's one of those catch 22s for me.
Oh,
The how
totally.
of it all.
Totally. I know
Mhm.
for me, one of those was so I was raised with if you sat still, you were lazy. So I had that ADD, ADHD, go, 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 go. And then I used to get complained at, why can't you just sit down? Like, well, hang on a minute. I was programmed to go, 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 go. And now I'm being told to sit down and relax. And now I don't know how to relax. So, one of the things that I had to reprogram my brain with in how to relax, because the program is go, 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 go. You know, I started to retrain my brain by saying, I'm actually busy relaxing right now because my brain had been taught to be busy, right? My brain was a busy
Mhm.
brain. My brain, my programming had been taught to be busy. So when I changed that dialogue to I'm busy relaxing right now, I found it took a while, but I found that I could take longer and longer and longer periods of time just sat reading a book
Yeah.
or just sat with my feet up during the weather or whatever, or with my feet in the lake, whatever that is. But when that, oh, I had nothing better to do, but I'd go and find things to do. I should be, it was like, hang on, no, I'm busy. I am busy relaxing right now. And I found that was a very powerful tool for me to be able to do that.
That's incredible. And that does need to be shared because I feel like I'm the same where growing up like we're it's a military background, so your value is your productivity. If you're
Right.
not doing things perfect and crisp and clean like and you're not doing you're not of value kind of thing. So that's the thing is like learning to rest has been huge. And even in my transition, like I'm 2.5 months out of the job right now, and I feel like I haven't let myself rest because I'm so used to being go, 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 go. But there are these tiny little pockets where I'm not acknowledging it enough and I'm not giving myself enough credit for making those, times where I'm like, yeah, I'm reading 10 pages. It's not the amount I want to read, but I got 10 pages in today. And, I sat out here for, a few moments before our call. That was something that I never used to have the opportunity to do. So it's noticing when you have those tiny little pockets that are going to gradually increase the more you give them energy. And they're
Mhm.
uncomfortable at the start. It's weird. You're like, no, I'm not doing anything actually. I'm just doing nothing for once. And it's strange, it's weird, it's awkward. You have to settle into that. But then once you do, you get good at it. It's like learning
Yeah,
to jump rope, you know?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, totally. And one of the things that I do with my clients is when we're breaking out of the program mindset is do 1% better every day, do 1% different every day. So you can
Yeah.
reprogram that to do 1% where you're just relaxing. That's 15 minutes in a 24-hour day. That's 15 minutes where you just unplug. And if you need to set yourself a
Mhm.
timer, set yourself a timer. But for 15
Yeah.
minutes, you can say, you know what, I'm busy relaxing. I'm busy relaxing for 15 minutes. I'm busy recharging. I'm busy. It's the word that because the brain gets programmed into the word. Because when we say I'm doing nothing, it's like nothing's
Yeah.
lazy.
Yeah. Are you doing nothing? You've got time for something then,
Yeah.
Like, yeah. Yeah. It's actually like the nothing is a window. And like, no, like nothing is actually something for me. Like this is something that I'm doing is actively doing nothing. And it's so important. And I feel like too, it's like that's the thing, it's like changing it so the mindset can grasp it, where it's like you don't have to do a ton. It's 1% today and
Yeah.
1% tomorrow. And it's not like it's 2% tomorrow. It's like the 1% today can be different than the 1% you do tomorrow, can be different than the 1% the next day, you know? But I
Yeah.
always say too is I like for me, to tip the scale, all you need to do is do 51% good for yourself. As soon as you're at the 49%, you're losing the battle. But all you need to do to tip the scale in the other direction is 51% of care for yourself.
Yeah.
Halfway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally. So when it comes back to people having these huge, great big transitions in their life, and the very, very first thing that they're going to do is their brain's going to go in turmoil. They're they're going to go external, looking for everything that they can grasp onto to try and make sense of it.
Yep.
And
Yep.
I know for me, one of the things that I would highly recommend anybody going through that is reach out to somebody that's already gone through it. Reach out to somebody that can hold space for you, that
Yep.
can observe, not judge. There's a very big difference between judging and observing, that can observe and hear what you are saying to yourself that either exaggerates the anxiety or gives you clarity. And
Yep.
that's what I would say if somebody is going through those big transitions, because even when you've done all the work, not that the work's ever done because we're still here, but when you've done internal work for a long time, it doesn't mean that things don't come up and hit you sideways on the head and something show up in your life. But it does mean over time, you have gained tools and strategies and a level of understanding to know if you're going to go into a panic, it's only like a 5 minute panic instead of a 5 month panic. And and then you rebalance somewhere and go, okay, wait a minute. Does does that make
Yeah.
sense?
So much, so much. My partner actually says to me all the time now, she's like, okay, you bounce back way faster than you used to. And the reality of it is like that's like I am in the middle of that healing journey where like I used to beat myself up for long periods of time and now it's like, a 5 minute period and we're done, we're moving forward, right? Like the bounce back is like, okay, like I'm doing for me now. I'm,
Yeah,
I'm doing for me. We're in that vibe, and doing for me means like not keeping myself, but like that's saying the words and my system in that state of panic. Like it really
yeah,
just increases fight or flight mode. And I'm like, I'm I'm exiting that. Like
yeah,
that's like there is no fear, the space that exists in here exists out here. Like we're going for that vibes. We're going for this energy. And like the reason too that these big things and like big changes, the relationships ending, the jobs are going, all of this is because you just need more space.
Hmm. Yeah.
Breathe,
There's
and,
a
and
big
take the time.
transition.
Yeah, take the time and the space to allow these like chapter endings to like fizzle and feel. I'm saying too with people, it's not even like a transition that you're going through right now. It's clarity. It's clearing out. It's allowing you to see. So instead of trying to figure it all out, let it unfold so that you can see.
Hmm. Yeah.
That's the woo. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
And probably the last thing I would say to anybody, and I'll come back to you to see what yours would be, is that if you've gone into mass anxiety, you've put yourself on a train too far into the future. You've either gone into catastrophic thinking or you're 15 years into the future because that's what's going to create anxiety. And again, reaching out to somebody who's done that journey where they can bring you right back to the now and what's my next best step, not what am I going to do in 15 years from now?
Yes.
What's my next best step? What would
Yeah.
you say?
Yeah. Oh goodness. I'm like I had it there and I forgot it entirely.
That's all right.
Um I really want to just say too, even it's about leaning into the space and to allow it to happen. And like you said, like to not, oh God, to reach out to somebody who's gone through it before, because like that's the thing, I'm watching people go through things that I've been through and I'm like, yes, this
Yeah.
happened for you. That's amazing. Like what an opportunity. And they're like, what? What? And I'm like, no, 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 no. Like this is the good in it, right? Like so we're seeing the good. Like I'm toxic positivity over here, and yeah, it's finding the good. It's the yin the yang, the good and the bad, and the bad and the good. Yeah.
It's trying to keep that smile, that inward smile down when somebody goes, I just lost my job. And you've been hearing them say for 12 months, I hate my job. And they finally lose their job. And you're going, yes.
Yes. Like, and like that's it's all perspective on stuff, and that's why talking to people who have walked it and they're like, "You're gonna be fine. Chill
Yeah.
out, enjoy your package, and have a nice day, and more will come." Right? Like you're onto something new, and like I don't even think it's in the same field. Like try different, and that's the exciting part of it is that it's really just the universe providing you with the opportunity to try different.
Oh, totally. Totally. So, anybody that's going through some big transitions in their life, please reach out to either Nat or myself. Leave a message under the video, share the video. Maybe somebody's going through something, huge in their life right now that this will go, okay. Doesn't mean that it's going to reduce a lot of the panic that you might be feeling, but it will certainly give you clarity that others have gone through this before you and that there is something on the other side of it. And yeah, so we'd love to hear from you, that's for sure. And because we love doing these and sharing some of the things that we've done, and I'm sure they're going to get more interesting as we go. Or deeper conversations, that's for sure.
Get in the field. We're getting our toes wet here. Like
Yeah,
you were on our journey too. Right? Like that's the thing,
that's
like big
it.
things had to happen to allow the time to do this. So I'm so thankful for you and I'm thankful that, we're learning and that one day and 2 years from now we'll be able to look back and be like, look where we started.
Yeah.
You remember these conversations, how nervous we were when the camera came on, like all of those pieces. But I'm so excited to continue growing and developing with you, Karen. This is
Oh,
always so good.
oh,
So good.
absolutely. And like you say, we're every single one of us are learning. We're here on as long as we're sucking and breathing air, we are learning. We're constantly growing, constantly evolving, constantly shifting concepts, constantly going, oh, wait a minute, I didn't know that. Or where the heck did that come from? Or I thought I'd healed that, damn it. You know, it still comes up. It still comes up. It
Yeah.
comes up in different facets, and again, don't ever put anybody on a pedestal above you. We're all on the same journey you are. It's just some are a little more older or got more time in or anything like that, but nobody is ever above you. And for anybody that's on this journey, they will gladly hold space for you while you're going through the same process.
100%. And on that note, it is 11:11, so I do want to acknowledge that. That is full on something. Like there's something about it. I see it on the microwave. I'm like, yeah, it's gonna be a great day. I am that girl, so I'm in that alignment. But
Totally. It's a gateway number, and 1111 is the gateway number to reaffirm what it is that you truly want.
mm, mm,
So considering
mm.
what we just talked about, that's a perfect ending to this video.
Very on theme. Very on theme. Oh, thank you, Karen.
Thank you, Nat. Thank you to everybody that watches these videos. Again, please share them, please comment, and we will see you again in a month. Bye for now.